Alright, so last comic haul of the month. Now, I say that with 100% confidence this time because unfortunately we are going away on vacation next week. I only say that because it's a school week and I only have 1 week off from work because I go by the kids' schedule, so I work at a school. So the one luxury is I get their vacations the same time that they do, with a few exceptions, but they're very few. And it's just like 1 day I have to go. They're half days. We still have to go the full day, and then 1 day they had off, which is 1 day. We didn't get it off, and I was like in the middle of the week too, so it wasn't like it was a 3 day week. It wasn't like it would have been a 3 day weekend either. So whatever. But so yeah, last comic haul of the month because I'm going away on vacation next week, and I probably won't buy any comics while I'm away on vacation. It would kind of be annoying if I did, because unless it was on the first of the month, like the 1st of May, I would have to still include it as part of the April haul. And I'm not bringing all these books with me on vacation just so I can throw them off again and do all that yet again. It's not worth it for me. Without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with the biggest disappointment because of the format of this book. So this is Image Comics. This is Joshua Hale Flakyov's and Rushan Egadai's Echoes. Now this is a smaller size hardcover. Ordinarily, this would not piss me off, especially if it was an OGN. But there exists a trade of the same series, and the trade is standard size. This is smaller sized even for a trade. I will compare it with the next trade. See? And it would have been this would have been the size of this. It would have this would look the same exact way that this looks like. Standard size trade paperback. Now, it's my OCD ass being annoying about it. At the end of the day, I am glad that I have this book. I am fine with it. You know, the format, whatever. I didn't know this before I bought it. And I just saw, oh, nice, it's a hardcover, and it's cheaper than the softcover. Or I think it was the same price. I forget exactly what it was. But nice, that's awesome. And I think that the softcover, I found it out after, but it was not showing off. It was not showing off. There was no way of knowing that, there was, the condition would have been less so. It would have been very good at best. Or I would have overpaid. So I guess that's fine, but then after I found a near mint condition copy on the website, and it's like, ah, shit, whatever. But whatever, I have it. It's a book that I didn't know existed until I found it out. And why am I saying it so awkwardly today? Why can't I talk? It was one of those books I didn't know that I had no idea it even existed. Even the writer, it sounds a little bit familiar to me, but only a little bit familiar. But this one, I kind of was like, yeah, when I get it. Now, at first, I thought this was the only thing that Joshua Hale Fialkov, that Fialkov had done for, yeah, so Fialkov, so that Joshua Hale Fialkov had done for Image Comics. I thought this was it, but there is more. There's 2 more, and I found out the hard way. But I got them now, so it's whatever at this point. Now this is a horror comic apparently, and it collects all 5 issues of the Echoes miniseries, and a small ass hardcover. And again, it doesn't piss me off because of the fact that number 1, it's readable, and 2, it is the same size, I think, as Sunset. I'm going to go check it right now. You won't see it on your end, but no, a little bit smaller. So it's in between, if you guys have those books, in between the size of Sunset by Christos Gage, where's the, there it is, and, oh, and here's how it looks like under the dust jacket. So there's a little novelty there. There's a dust jacket. Hardly any of the Image Comics hardcovers, no matter what size they are, hardly any of their hardcovers come with a dust jacket. Really stupid, but that's the way the image is. And not stupid like like they should come with dust jackets. It's kind of like, why not, you know? It adds to it. And what's really cool, I don't know if you saw this, but there's a little thing here, a little window. I've always found that to be cool. Now, it's going to be annoying because I have to be very cautious while putting this on a shelf, but I think it's still pretty cool. And again, a dust jacket. I'll always appreciate a dust jacket on an Image Comics hardcover. All in all, I'm fine with it. Oh, but as I was saying, the Dimensions of Echoes is in between Sunset by Christos Gage and Good Comics for Bad People by Zach M. Stafford. So that's pretty epic. Alright. Next book up is by the same writer, but this time the artist is Brent Peoples. So it's Joshua Hale Fialkov and Brent Peoples, The Last of the Greats. Now I did not check, I just realized I did not tell you guys, so we're going to go back in time. So this is a this is a fantastic example of why I like doing the end of the month hauls. The only additional book that I'm not going to be showing off today that I got this month is Black Cloak Volume 2. All someone has to do is watch this video, and if I've already watched Black Cloak Volume 2 video, to know all the books I got this month. So they really don't technically have to watch the end of the month comic haul, but if you want a more organized version of this comic haul, and where every last book is shown off all at once, wait till the first of each month and you will get that video. And again, it's a nice way for me to basically do a second cut of the same video, but doing it for a reason. But there's a reason for why I'm doing that, because I'm adding some books. Again, some books I get earlier than others. Sometimes I get lucky, I get some books early, but for the most part, it is all at the same time. So I was right. Artist is the Rashawn Akedi guy. Because it's black and white also, so no colorist. But sometimes they'll have a different inker than artist. Okay, so back to this. Joshua Hale Fialkov writes the series. It is penciled by Brent Peoples. See, inker is Matthew Waite, and it's Waite with an E at the end. And Healing inks chapters 1 through 2, and then Nick Nix. That's Nick, regular way you spell Nick, and then Nix for his last name, and he does the rest of the series inks, and he inks the rest of the series. Mirka Andolfo is the colorist for chapters 1 through 2, and Eddie Swan does the rest of the series. Matt Lopes helps out with chapter 3, and Brian Bucalato chapter 3, and then Blonde chapter 3. So chapter 3 is colored by a lot of people. That's pretty cool. Special thanks to Tony Fleeks. That's cool. A lot of big names. Because this is an older Image comic, so it's kind of fun to see all these names so early in the game. And there is a nice little 2-page spread. But those of you who want more than that, I will be happy to show you guys this. So this looks pretty cool. I like this type of artwork and this type of formatting and just this type of everything. Lettering is a bit... I kind of like that lettering. It's a bit too scratchy for my taste, but I've never hated lettering. I've never been like, oh, the letterer here is Tony Fleeks. Nope, not reading this book. No. It's just sometimes, like, I like my favorite type of lettering, if I had to choose, is either the Vertigo type or the Ultimates type. The type they use in any old Ultimates book, that kind of typing. It was obviously typed out on a computer, and it was typed out normally, like how you normally type out dialogue in a novel, but put into word balloons, obviously. So it was... first letter is always capitalized, and the rest is lowercase, except for unless it's someone's name, or God, or he, for referring to God. I always find that kind of strange when they'll, official subtitles won't capitalize he sometimes. Sometimes they don't. And I think it was a comic book one time. It's one of those things that you notice it when they don't do it. When they don't capitalize the H and he when referring to God or Jesus. That's what you're supposed to do. That's all. It's kind of like doing a disservice if you ignore that rule. Oh yeah, and sorry, talking about God. We went from talking about comics to talking about God. How did that happen? What is this? The Easter special? So Last of the Greats collects 1 through 5 of Last of the Greats, and Echoes was also 1 through 5. Why doesn't it say it here? There it is. So Last of the Greats 1 through 5. All 5 issues of this miniseries. For only $12.99. That is what Image should have it at. It's $12.99. If it's an ongoing series, first volume should always be $10, $9.99, and then volume 2 and upward, if it's only 5 issues, should be $12.99. If it's 6 issues and up, or 6 to 8 issues, it should be $14.99. And 8 issues to 10 issues, it should be $16.99. And $19.99 is for those bigger books, like if it's like 15 issues or whatever. Like it's like, you know, those like complete collection books. That's what it should be, $20. But for the most part, I do think Image, if you're comparing it to other books that are coming out like at the same time, you know what I mean, but from other publishers, that was worth missing. Then yeah, it is fair, but also sometimes not. All right, so this one is Punks the Comic, same writer, Joshua Hale Fialkov, also collecting 1 through 5. Really like those 5-issue miniseries, and it is the art is done by it says it created by Joshua Fialkov and Cody Chamberlain. So no Hale in the middle, and looks like Cody Chamberlain is the artist also. Now this book, there is a one-shot that came out after this trade came out that was done through the Liberty Comics Legal Defense Fund, which was anthology stories, and all the profits went to helping out comics, whether that be helping out creators or helping out independent publishers. That's what that did, a little charity. They don't do that anymore, I think because they can't afford to, maybe, or they stopped doing it, or maybe they just realized that doing that, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it because that's just. Oh yeah, product placement, by the way. It's Members Mark. All that yapping got me thirsty. But it is something I've always liked. There is something that came out recently. I think that True Crime, that True War Stories is going to be. It's a charity fundraiser, and all the profits of that graphic novel will go to helping out veterans. But we're getting way too lost in the sauce, so let's move on. And then Horizon Experiment. This is a series of one-shots. Those one-shots being The Manchurian, The Sacred Damned, Moondogs, Motherfucking Monsters. They censor it, but I'm not going to. And finally, Finders Keepers. Each issue was a one-shot, and it's like pilot season back in the day. Those of you who know your Image Comics lore will know exactly what pilot season is. For those not in the know, pilot season was a series of one-shots that, if they were popular enough, they got picked up for their own series. That's the same thing here. Is like the first issues of potential series. Now, the writers are Pornzak, no, I'm going to show it here. Pornzak Pachodi, just a bunch of names. I'm going to show all the names here, and we're just going to assume who the artist is and who the writer is. It should be pretty obvious, but Michael Walsh is not as obvious because he's both a writer and an artist. And here's actually, if you want to know the entire... I'm going to show it for a few minutes because I'm definitely opening this book way too wide. So there you go. There's all the credits page. I thought I was going too fast. I wasn't. I was like, oh shit, I didn't show off the artwork of the last book. But I did. And here's the artwork for the Horizon Experiment. But this is pretty cool. And I like when they came out with a trade. Nice little trade of it. Evolved 5 issues into 1. But Brian Michael Bendis and Patton Oswalt give it praise. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was right. It was 5 issues. But I think what these little anthologies should do is like make it 10 issues, and half of the book is, or not 10 issues, but make it like 300 pages, an original graphic novel if you want to, if you so desire, if the publisher so desires. 300 pages, and at least part of it is recognizable writers, but the rest of it is writers that, like, you know, up and coming writers. And if people like their stuff, they can support them elsewhere. Now, these first 4 books I got through my comic shop. And 100% I'm going to order from them again. Again, the only disappointment is Echoes, being a small-ass, puny-ass little hardcover. But, you know, I guess, whatever. Wasn't asking for an oversized hardcover, but a standard-sized hardcover would have been nice, at least. And I'm not showing this book off. You already saw it. This is for the rest of the books you've not seen I got this month. Alright, so next up is Ancestor. This is written by both Matt Sheehan and Malaki Ward, who I believe also they do the artwork too. Oh, that's nice. This does say part of 1 of 4. So, this was... you can find this... Actually, it doesn't really matter, but... You can find this series in the Island issues. Specifically, it collects the Ancestor stories from Island issues 3, 5, 7, and 11. Island was, yet again, getting back on the anthology. Looking back on talking about anthologies. Getting back talking about the anthology topic. Talking about the topic of anthology. That's how you say it. Getting back to talking about the topic of anthologies with Ancestor. And with the Island. Or with the Island. I could not say that, could I? I said the same thing about 50 times. Because I was not satisfied with the way it came out. But this looked really interesting. I'm going to show the artwork again. I feel like there's a better spot to show it in. And this one I will have read pretty soon here. The library had a copy, and I really found it ironic, and I was like, you know what, let's get the library's copy, read the library's copy. Unfortunately, it's from a library, it's not my local library, so I do have to wait for it to come in. Thought it would come in today. It would have been awesome if it came in today, because I would have read it 1 issue per day, and that is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I would have to read 2 on Friday, but to read this whole entire thing on Friday when I'm packing and finishing up the last of the books that I had to finish up, that's a bit of a feat to accomplish. A bit big of a feat to accomplish. I don't know why, but I thought I'd have this finished by the time I show these books off. I don't know why I thought that. But anyways, one of those kinds of, like, one of those types of hidden books, if you will, from Image, you know, they kind of just don't, like, guys don't know about it. On my end, I mean. I know that came out sounding super awkward. Okay, so they do the writing, the Malaki Ward does the inking, but other than that, and the lettering, but other than that, the writing, penciling, and coloring is done by both people, by both gentlemen. I believe Malaki is a man's name. I could be wrong though. But again, one of those like books I've never heard of before. Not even like I've heard of Horizon Experiment before, but you know, just completely I had no idea what Ancestor was from Image Comics. I always liked that, and I was looking for a book to because it was like a gift card, and I was looking for two. I was looking to get 2 books, and I needed to get one that was like $15, and I saw Ancestor. Moving on. Oh, and the reason how I find these is I do Amazon Prime, like Prime shipping, and I do price low to high. Alright. Next up, and this is also the other one I got with that gift card, and that is The Holy Roller, written by Andy Samberg, Rick Remender, and Joe Troman. And this collects all 9 issues of this 9-issue miniseries. Roland Boschi does the art, and Moreno Decino does the colors for Holy Roller. There's the artwork for Holy Roller, and now we'll move on. So I thought this was the only one. I didn't think. I didn't even assume. I thought at first that this was the only book that Joe Troman had written for Image, and I was like, you know what, little novelty there. I know it's probably more Rick Remender than anyone else, and especially not even Andy Samberg. Andy Samberg has put his name on there. Maybe it is actually written by him. Maybe it's not a Keanu Reeves Berserker type sitch, but it probably is. But Joe Troman there is a series coming out in May, early May. So next gift card I get, I'm getting that book, and that is Rifters. But it's also co-written by. I find it ironic that both Joe Troman Image books are co-written by someone else, but this time around, Rifters is co-written by Brian Posehn. I think that's how you pronounce the name. So its next one is God Country, Warped. You've heard of Crash Bandicoot Warped. Now get prepared for God Country Warped. Yeah, this should not happen. There is no goddamn excuse for this to happen. Now, thank God, no pun intended, this is with God Country. A book I only got because I remember liking it. I read my library's copy, really liked it enough to own it myself. But I could have waited, and maybe should have waited, until I got the rest of Donny Cates' Image Comics work. Because I don't like doing that. I'm a huge completist, so I don't like waiting, and I don't like doing this, like getting it early. But the only reason is, like, you know what, screw it, I have nothing else to get for the rereads. So God Country will be the one this month. Again, cannot read Ancestor in enough time to count that as that. But I will still count it at the end of the day. But this is written by Donny Cates, artwork done by Jeff Shaw. And then Jason Wardy does the colors. And I believe this is 7 issues. A 7-issue miniseries. No, 6 issues. So God Country 1 through 6. Collected in this trade. It's a 6-issue miniseries, but I do remember really liking it. This is one that I think I found out it existed through Comic Pop. I don't think it was when I looked up myself and just so happened to find. It was Comic Pop that told me about it, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. I like how on the back here they label it as Epic Texan Battle Fantasy. It's kind of funny. You ask me. Now this one is not as bad because I'm squeezing. I'm having it so tightly squeezed between 2 other books that it forces Monarch to be unworked. But it's still kind of bad. Like I definitely need to put this. When I put it back, definitely I need to not take it out for at least another week, which actually will be away next week. So perfect. I wouldn't be tempted to look at it, to take it out and see what conditions in so far, because I won't be able to. Alright, this is Monarch, written by Rodney Barnes, with artwork done by Alex Lins, and colors done by Louise NCT. Color assist done by Mar Silvestri Galato. And then that's it. And art direction by Jason Sean Alexander, but I don't know what the hell that means. So we're not going to even say it. Or technically include it. Well, just technically, so I didn't say it. But you guys know what I mean. And here is the artwork for Monarch, which collects all 5 issues of this miniseries by Rodney Barnes. Sorry, all 6 issues of this 6-issue miniseries. I think 6 issues, if you want to tell a short story, not like a short story, but like a story that's like, you know, is the length of your average theatrical movie, I think 6 issues is a perfect length. Because 5 issues sounds a bit too short, and 4 issues, like, absolutely no way. But 6 issues, I think, is the perfect length. And also, it's just like, when I see 6-issue miniseries from Image, $16.99, and it's an added bonus, it's the only thing that's right down for Image. And that's like, it's a steal for me. It's not a steal. But that is, like, the perfect pricing for me, or PP, if you will. Bonus Points is a 5-issue miniseries for $15, or $14.99. Alright. Next up, or if it's a 6-issue series, or if it's like a series, first volume is 6 issues, and it's $14.99. Added bonus there. Next up is Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, Volume 2. Now, without fail, each book I got from Amazon had at least, and it was shipped and sold by Amazon, except for Ancestor, had one big thing wrong with it. And this one is, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a different kind of warped, where it almost looks like it's water damaged. It's like that kind of like wavy, like when you get a water damage book, it's like that kind of it feels that it has that same wavy feel to it. But it's just a small part of the book, which is nice. And it's only on the back, but it's still annoying. I think what happens, like I can feel something here too. I think someone grabbed it like this and like they held it like tight, or they like tripped themselves and I'm like and then it happened. But this one collects Nina Ha's Nightmare Blog 7 to 12. Now, it's 12 issue maxi series. I think is a perfect length to tell it like an epic, not like a Star Wars epic, but the first part of an epic. You know, like Star Wars Episode 4, like 12 issues. No, actually, now that I think about it, 6 issues because Star Wars is only a little bit over 2 hours. The first one, at least. So it still goes by that 6 issue series. So I guess if it's a duology, if it's 2 movies, 12 issues to tell the entire story, I think it's a perfect length. And a 12 issue series is in general, it sounds really. I don't know how to explain it other than just to stop talking, but that's how it is. That's how I feel about it. All right. Next up is Philadelphia, Volume 5. There's No Place Like Home. More like There's No Place Like Amazon. Oh wait, there's a bunch of more planes. I was stupid. It's warped. A little bit here, a little bit there. It's annoying. How do you not? How do you do that? It's like you had to try it on purpose. Did you purposefully be trying to get it in bad condition? All right. Story: Rodney Barnes. Layouts and inks is done by Jason Sean Alexander. Pencils done by German Armmouse. And colors is done by Lee Luffridge. How long is this video? 26 minutes. My God. All right. Speed things up here. Here is the artwork for Philadelphia Volume 5. Yet again, like I've always mentioned, if I have... Actually, technically speaking, I shouldn't be showing off the artwork for this book. You'll see why in a second here. But this collects Philadelphia issues 25 to 30. So like how I do... So let's say I got all 6 volumes of Philadelphia this month. Technically speaking, I did. Now, I would only show the artwork for Volume 1. So say I got them all in soft covers. Obviously, I did not get them all in soft covers. But let's say I got all the soft covers for Volumes 1 through 6 of Philadelphia. I will only show the artwork and go over the credits for Volume 1. Because I'll assume the credits are the exact same throughout the entire series. Thus far, at least. And then the artwork, I don't want to show any spoilers, so I only show it... I try my best to show it within the first issue of the series, or the first chapter of the series. There's the first few pages of that, of the series, the first few pages of that graphic novel. You have Philadelphia, Volume 6, Death Be Not Proud, collecting 31 to 35. Plus the backup stories starring Hell's Baddest Badass, Johnny Gatman. This, if you couldn't tell by the cover, is a crossover with both Savage Dragon and Spawn. Because Spawn just wants to be everywhere in Image. 30,000 spin-offs, the series is still going strong, and all that noise. And, and crossovers here and there. Philadelphia, this is the hardcover. Same exact creative team, although Luis NCT is here, actually. So at least for the first 12 issues, which is what this hardcover collects, the colors are done by Louise NCT, but art is still done by Jason Sean Alexander, but no additional penciling, so no German. This is book 1. This is Philadelphia book 1 hardcover. But the only reason why I got this hardcover is because the hardcovers collect stories from Elysium Gardens, which is written by Rodney Barnes, and the art and gray tones are done by Jason Sean Alexander. Inks for the first 9 pages is done by Bill Sienkiewicz. That's pretty awesome. That's it. Okay. So the inks are for the rest of the pages are done by Jason Sean, I guess. But Philadelphia is that series that I just never finished because they just never finished it in general. They have one more volume left, but as you can tell, it's kind of uneven. Because Volume 5 collected 6 issues, and so did the previous 4 volumes. But Volume 6 is 31 to 35. What was it? Only 35 issues and it was done? No, because issue 36, which ends that arc, by the way, has not been released yet. The series is on indefinite hiatus. No, I don't know why Rodney Barnes couldn't have just written issue 36 and then went on hiatus. But that's what we decided to do. And such a long hiatus, I guess even Image was like, we can't wait any longer for the trade to come out, so we'll just get rid of issue 36. It doesn't exist. And it's only going to be issues 31 and 35 of the trade. Really weird, though. Alright. 2 more books, and then we're done. Now, I was going to say thank God, but that's a lie. It's just like I had to film the second part of this video, and it should not have been this long. This video should not have been this long. No way that it should have been this long. Philadelphia, Book 2. I should have done this. I should have known it was going to be a long video anyways, and just counted this as the complete graphic novel haul for this month. But I didn't do that. Alright. Philadelphia, Book 2, which collects issues 13-24, right? Yes. And then more issues, and more chapters from the Italian series, Werewolf Italian series, Elysium Gardens. It does kind of piss me off there's no third hardcover, because maybe the third hardcover would have finished off Elysium Gardens. And maybe this does, but there's more. Because actually, the first one is the first five chapters of Elysium Gardens, and the math is right, the math is consistent, and Volume 2 is Elysium Gardens chapters 6 through 10. Now, what's really interesting about this series is a lot of big names that you would not expect to read comics give praise to Philadelphia, including Snoop Dogg, Chris Rock. Is there more names here? Patton Oswalt, that's normal. So is Scott Snyder. Jordan Peele, which, you know, if anything, that's going to be his next movie. Or one of his next movies. It's going to be a film adaptation a theatrical adaptation of Philadelphia. Or at the very least, he'll oversee the production. Alright, last but certainly not the least is Universal Monsters Frankenstein, written by Michael Walsh with artwork done by Tony Muddy Griffin. I think I'm right about that. I don't think that there's any more names here. Let's see. Colorist, yeah. Oh, and Michael Walsh does the artwork. So, writer and artist Michael Walsh. Colorist is Tony Muddy Griffin. Now, this is done through Skybound. And this is just like adaptations or sequels to these classic stories. So, James Tynion, who ironically enough did the Universal Monsters Dracula series, gives it praise. Patrick Horvath, Jeff Lemire, Michael Chavez, who I don't technically recognize. He's a director. He did The Conjuring 3, Nun 2, and then The Curse of La Llorona. So, you know, an okay filmmaker at best. Chip Zdarsky, Adam Gorham, don't recognize his name, and then Joshua Williamson, definitely recognize Joshua Williamson, all gave Universal Monsters Frankenstein high praise. Then here is the artwork for the final book, Universal Monsters Frankenstein, which collects issues 1 through 4 of the 4-issue miniseries. Now, I'm going to double check to make sure this is 1324, actually, and I know it is. Wait, can I check that? Never mind. For Philadelphia Book 2, I thought we hadn't checked that. But we did. And that, as they say, is that. Definitely not just fully disappointed with this month's haul, but I also kind of am in the sense of Echoes. In Echoes' case, the condition of Monarch and the other warped books, and the fact that, honestly, the fact that that Riptors didn't come out this month. Although what I have gotten, I haven't been able to get both and Holy Rollers, so I had to keep looking. Okay. Oh, and the other disappointment was technical disappointment. Is I'm sure Philadelphia. Watch Philadelphia come back in August, so I can't celebrate quote unquote for too long. All right. So, but by that I mean right now at least, I have everything Rodney Barnes has done for Image. I don't include Elysium Gardens or any of the other spin-offs from Philadelphia because those can only be read, other than the hardcovers, through Substack. And even then, I think there's another spin-off that's not collected anywhere, not even in the hardcovers. That is why it is indeed why I got the hardcovers, because all I need is volume 4, the softcover, and I have the first 6 volumes in softcover format. Now I do have volume 4 in floppies, but you really can't put that on your shelf and make it look good. So there you go. All right, but that, as I say, is that.